Hello and welcome to another edition of You Skipped That. I'm Dan Clark.
And I'm Alex Grace.
And this is the podcast where we, a couple of movie fans, introduce each other to movies that the other one has skipped. This week is my week, and we'll be covering the movie Chicago.
Gave us the old Razzle Dazzle.
Little Razzle Dazzle and all that jazz, you know? Yeah. I had seen this one many times before. I love this movie. Alex, you hadn't.
I had never seen this, not once.
In fact, when we were talking before the movie, we don't talk much about the movie, certainly not after watching. We get in here and try to record pretty quickly, but you didn't know who was in it, you didn't know any of the songs, you didn't know what it was about, you assumed that it took place in Chicago, but that was about all you knew. What do you think?
Loved it.
It's a fantastic movie.
It was awesome.
It's
just a spectacle from beginning to end.
Yeah. It got like critical acclaim back in the day, back in 2002 when it first came out. In fact, it won Best Picture, which I think it earned. I don't know what it was up against, but I didn't get to see it in theaters. I wish I had. This is a movie that I think would be incredible on the big screen.
Oh,
with all the
clink. There it goes in the jar.
Absolutely jar. Yeah, it's a spectacle, as you said, from beginning to end. It's got some phenomenal music in it. A couple songs that you had heard without realizing what it was from.
Right. I actually have a friend who will just randomly break out into all that jazz from time to time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't explain it. She'll just be walking through a store and just start doing the little jazz hands number and start singing, and all that jazz. You know who you are. If you're listening to this.
And I don't know who you are, so,
yeah.
You know. Yeah, it takes place in the 1920s, for those of you who haven't seen, who have also skipped it, you fellow skippers. It takes place in the 1920s in Chicago.
I would have been really, really confused if that movie did not take place in Chicago.
I don't know, see, I've seen movies like that before, like the fact that Chasing Amy does not feature a character named Amy, stuff like that,
okay.
You kind of learn to roll with it, but
it's just part of the title, I guess.
Yeah, it has relevance to the movie. I don't think Chasing Amy's going to show up on this show, right. But it's decent enough. I like it. It's funny, but it takes place in the 1920s in Chicago, centering largely around Roxy Hart, played by Renee Zellweger, who kills a man.
Yes,
in cold blood, pretty much. I mean,
pretty definitively.
He hit her a couple times, but he was leaving.
Yeah. And she did all but shoot him in the back.
Yeah, I think he does turn around just before. But she ends up going to jail, the Cook County Jail, and it's about how she builds her defense and adjusts to prison life and her lawyer and some of the other inmates. And it doesn't sound like a snappy musical.
No, it doesn't.
But it's real snappy. It's all the music has that 1920s feel. Another one of the people in the jail is Velma Kelly, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. Took me a second, but she's a jazz singer, and stuff kind of centers around that. Her lawyer is Billy Flynn, played by Richard Gere. The matron of the jail is Queen Latifah, matron Mama Morton. I can't believe I forgot the guy that has a song about
being invisible,
how forgettable he is. John C. Reilly as Amos.
Yep, you mean Andy.
Or Andy. Just a stacked cast.
Very.
Lucy Liu appears for a moment.
Yeah, did not expect that.
Which is weird that I think she might be the first big name repeat on this show.
I think she is, yeah.
And I think in my entire life, I've seen 2 Lucy Liu movies. And
have you seen Live Free or Die Hard? Because she's in that too.
And she is in that. Yeah, I have seen that. Okay.
I was about to say, you've seen at least 3.
Yeah.
Because I know we've both seen all the Die Hards.
Yes.
Except the most recent one.
I've seen the most recent one. The Russia one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not showing up on this show.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw it. I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got some great music. All that jazz, Razzle, Dazzle. Those are the 2 big ones. I love the Cell Block Tango.
Cell Block Tango was really good. Mr. Cellophane was fantastic.
Yeah. The song Roxy's really good.
Yes.
Nowadays. There's not a song
that isn't
on the soundtrack that I would skip.
The press conference with the puppets.
We both reach for the gun. Yeah.
What a great scene. Just so good.
Yeah, it's the first press conference after Roxy has been made a household name. They turned it into the so-called crime of the century. And the whole thing is made to look like all the reporters are just like marionettes, and the lawyer's just pulling all the strings, and he's got Roxy on his knee like a ventriloquist dummy, and he's moving her mouth, and she has barely any lines in the song, but she's always there mouthing along with it because it's always his words coming out of her mouth. It's just phenomenal staging. Really, really surprising fact for me, Rob Marshall, who directed this movie, this was his first movie.
What?
That was his first movie.
Wow.
Yeah, they brought him in. I don't know if he's done theater work before. I know. He has to have like a background in.
Almost
choreography.
Almost
or something. I think I read that he did some choreography work, but he was brought in to talk about doing Rent, the movie Rent, which didn't get made until a few years later because he said, "You know what? I like Rent. I have a really cool idea for Chicago." And they said, "What is it?" And he told them, and they went, "Well, do it. Yeah, absolutely, go for it."
Jar.
Oh, okay, yeah, Pink. There we go. So, first movie for him. Another surprising fact: Catherine Zeta-Jones was pregnant during the making of this movie.
Okay, that's shocking.
Considering how little she's wearing for most of it.
Yeah.
And how much she's dancing.
Yeah.
In fact, they wanted her to have longer hair, and she insisted on the shorter bob, which to me is like iconic.
That's very 20s.
Yeah, she said she wanted shorter hair so that it wouldn't cover her face, so no one could accuse her of not doing all those dance moves. So she was actually doing all that dancing while pregnant.
That's impressive.
Yep. Like I said, there's not a single song that I skip when I listen to the soundtrack, which I do fairly regularly.
Yeah, it's a great throwback. You know, it all, like you said, has that very 20s sound to it, and I love how they transition from kind of the real world to the musical world for each song.
That was part of what he suggested, what the director suggested, to make sure that as his idea for the movie. His idea was all of these musical numbers are Roxy's way of escaping from her cruel reality, which is why they are almost all, Mr. Cellophane isn't, and All That Jazz isn't, but other than that, they're all songs directed at her, and they're kind of a summation of what's happening to her, and everyone switches back to their normal costumes afterwards, and so that's what he suggested, and they went, "We love it." So
that's really neat.
It's also why the very first shot of the movie is like pulling in on her eyes.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of going into her
I thought
world.
that was kind of interesting. Yeah. But that makes sense now that you say that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that didn't quite click when it happened.
Right.
Now. Makes sense.
It also has some interesting tones on the very, very end of the movie, which I don't think we're going to go into because it is fairly compelling as to will she be convicted or not.
Right.
So we're not gonna ruin that, but I'll talk to you off mic about that. I'm sure I'll see you sometime off the podcast.
Yeah, as soon as we hit stop, I go, all right, peace, and I'm just walk right out the door.
Yeah, we really don't much care for each other. We just have good chemistry. we're like Velma and Roxy. Can't stand each other.
Much less attractive.
That's very true. And
cruel fact.
Yeah. Sorry.
And actually, I think we do get along pretty good.
Yeah, we do. We are friends off mic. You know, we didn't just kind of run into each other and go.
But that was a good bit.
Yeah.
You have a face for radio. Yeah.
Thank you. There's actually a really good deleted song called "Class" between Queen Latifah's Mama Morton and Velma Kelly. It's all about. It's a funny song. It's a beautiful song, too. Mm-hmm. Great harmonies in it about how there's no class anymore. Like it's about during the trial where Roxy steals a whole bunch of Velma's bits that she was going to do during her trial. And she's like, man, no one's got any class anymore. That's what I was going to do at my murder trial. And she just up and stole it. Like I said, it's a beautiful song. They ended up cutting it because it didn't fit that motif of all these songs are happening in Roxy's head because she's not present for the scene, and it did not cut away to a big spectacle. It was just them sitting in Mama's office singing. So
interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Other thoughts from you?
Other thoughts. It's just so doggone pretty.
It is.
Like, from beginning to end, the lighting, the costumes.
It has that glitz and glamour to it.
It does, yeah. I mean, it feels like you just walked into The Great Gatsby.
And when it does cut to, like, the real world is pretty drab.
Yeah, it looks like the 20s really look.
Yeah, the prison looks like a prison. But then when she has that escape of going to...
All of a sudden, everything's covered in neon and sequins and...
bright flashing lights and all of that. Striking imagery. It feels like you are escaping from this disgusting reality.
Yeah. Like I said, loved that. Loved the music. The music I mean, I was tapping my foot through the whole movie. And just some great performances, too. Like, yeah. I know we were talking just right before we turned the mic on. I think, didn't you say John C. Reilly got, like, nominated?
Nominated for I don't know if he won or not. You go ahead and talk. I'll look into it.
He was fantastic as Amos.
It really is weird, given the trajectory he has... willingly and seemingly happily taken his career. The guy from Holmes and Watson. Yeah.
Guy from Ricky Bobby.
So Ricky Bobby, yeah. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Step Brother,
yeah. That he has such chops in this. Like, he is seriously good. He did not win for Best Supporting Actor.
But still, you know.
He was up for it.
And that's impressive in and of itself.
He didn't win. Rob Marshall was nominated for Best Director. He didn't win. Renee Zellweger for Best Actress. She didn't win. Queen Latifah for Best Supporting Actress. She didn't win, but Catherine Zeta-Jones did.
Oh, nice.
Adapted screenplay that was up for a ton of stuff. It looked like it won.
Yeah,
a fair few technicals, surprising no one.
Yeah, surprising no one.
But
Richard Gere's always a delight.
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just the smarmy lawyer.
Absolutely. Oh, man. There it is again.
Yep. Starting up the vacation fund. The line, like, all you need to know. I love it when you can just kind of encapsulate a character in a single line. You can just point to it and go, that is the entirety of the character right there. And he's got some nuance around it, but it all rotates around this. His line of, let me put it to you this way. If Jesus Christ lived in Chicago today and he had $5,000 to hire me, he would have gotten off. That's the character, which kind of brings us...
Oh my gosh, yeah.
To something
we gotta talk about this.
We watch the movie because sometimes, like, we're recording this in the summer. For those of you listening in the future, I hope people are listening to this in the future. We're recording it in the summer. It's fairly warm. It's kind of broken by now, but it's still pretty warm. We watch it with subtitles. In case the air conditioner kicks on, we can't hear it. It's kind of nice to be able to follow along with it. These are the weirdest subtitles I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like somebody wanted to make G-rated subtitles for... I'm pretty sure an R-rated movie.
It has to be R-rated.
At least solid PG-13.
PG-13, I think.
Somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah. But somebody wanted to make Disney subtitles for this movie.
All of the cursing.
Yeah, every word.
Out, including Jesus Christ. Even though it's not used as
not as a swear.
Yeah, it's him referring to the person, Jesus Christ. They changed it to Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
I was so baffled.
Yeah.
I mean, it added a weird extra layer of hilarity.
It reminded me of a weird thing. I think I still have the book up here somewhere. I might show it to you afterwards. I'm really interested in true crime, and I know you're not as much,
right.
If at all. But I told my wife, we were dating at the time, that I like true crime. I like the serial killers and all that. It's very interesting to me. And so she bought me a used copy of a book about serial killers. And I flipped through it, and it is the scariest book I've ever had. Not because of anything printed in it, but the person who had it before me went through this book about Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy and censored all of the swear words.
Wow.
It's creepy.
Like, that took a second to sink in.
Yeah. Someone was like, okay... Killer clown, sure. But can't we just say heck instead? And that's what this reminded me of. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
They're talking about
horrific crimes.
Horrific crimes. And we try to keep the language pretty tame here. I'm going to drop like a lowercase swear word here. During Cell Block Tango, one of the lines is "single my ass." And they change it in the subtitles to "single my eye."
I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not necessarily a funny scene. I mean, there are funny bits of it.
He ran into my knife 10 times as a funny line, you know.
Yeah. But, yeah, the subtitles were very interesting, and I would love if somebody could find a reason that happened to us today.
I wish I still had my DVD of it to see if it was just, like, the subtitles that were made for it, and so, like, it's part of the distribution. Like, you have to use our subtitles.
Right.
But it was bizarre.
Well, I might
all the way through the movie.
Right. I might be buying this, and I use a different service for buying movies than you do.
Yeah.
We're not going to name because, you know, you're not paying us to.
Right, yeah.
Hint, hint, streaming services. But I'm going to be curious to see if it has the same captions.
I will throw it out. I use Vudu. If someone out there's from Vudu who can lend some insight as to why you have weird subtitles, I'll name drop you. I'll give you some free advertising. Just get in touch with me. I need to know.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it had to be addressed.
And we try not to talk too much during the movie.
Yeah.
We don't talk really at all. We'll laugh, we'll react, you know, non-verbally, but we don't talk. But we did, I did stop and say that after, I think it was Cell Block Tango. I was like, what is up with this? Yeah. It's just, because it's not like Tarantino, Scorsese level, just like, wow, did we actually average more than one F-bomb a minute? How many times did we drop the N-word in this movie? Right. None in this one, but I know that's something that's frequently talked about Tarantino. It's not like a swear a minute, but
no,
there's a decent amount. I mean, they're in prison, they kill people or have killed people. They don't shy away from it.
Right.
There were a couple times where they censored it with not words.
Yeah, just sounds.
Yeah, HGGK or something like that. Yeah. Poof. Poof. Yeah. Yeah, it was a very
odd experience.
Any other thoughts? Because I looked up some trivia that I'd like to share, but I'd like to make sure that we're kind of through the actual meat and potatoes here before we get to that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, and I mean, I could just kind of glow about it, but I don't really know gush about it. Yeah,
we haven't really talked about, other than the fact that she was pregnant. Why do I keep blanking on Catherine Zeta-Jones' name?
I almost called her Karen Zeta-Jones.
Carolyn. I almost said Carolyn.
Carolyn.
At least I had the right number of the right number of syllables. But she was very, very good. Before seeing this, I'd never heard her sing before.
Right, yeah. Excellent voice.
Fantastic singer. I'd never heard Renee Zellweger sing before. I don't think I'd ever heard anyone in this movie sing before.
Really, yeah.
I don't think musicals when I think Richard Gere.
Right.
I definitely don't think it when I think of John C. Reilly. I think of other stuff now.
I mean, to be fair, the other movie you've shown me with John
fair.
C. Reilly is a musical.
Yeah, I saw that. That came out after. So Christine Baranski's in this.
And I love Christine Baranski.
She is very good.
I'm just always thrilled when she pops up in some random TV show.
It did give get an actual response from you when she popped up. It's kind of
hey, she's
it's
this
her.
too.
Here she is.
Yeah.
She's also in Big Bang Theory.
Yep. Leonard's mom.
She was in Bowfinger. Have you seen Bowfinger?
I don't think so.
We might have to do Bowfinger.
Okay.
Real quick on Bowfinger. I'm not going to talk about what the scene is, but we saw it in the theater. I went with my whole family, my mom, dad, and my sister. And my dad loves a good comedy. He's not an emotionless man. He's a very jovial guy.
Yeah.
I've never seen him laugh that hard.
Okay.
My dad almost fell out of his seat in the movie theater watching that. Eddie Murphy, Steve Martin.
Oh, well, that's a killer combo right there.
Heather Graham's in there. I know there's other people. I haven't seen it in years. But yeah, that's a movie.
I do have a dad's embarrassingly laughing in the theater story to share at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, little personal stories. But for anyone at home who's seen Bowfinger, it was the highway scene.
Okay.
That makes sense if you've seen it. Also, the topless scene. You don't see it. You don't see anything, but it is hilarious. Twice my dad almost fell out of his seat. But
that's funny to picture, knowing your dad.
Yeah, but I was looking at trivia. I try to kind of prepare beforehand.
You're a very studious guy, You prepare.
Yeah, my prep work for this was I read the IMDb trivia and I listened to the soundtrack a few times, and I have seen the movie several times before, but it's been years. Like, no one in this movie was the first choice.
Really?
Which is weird because everyone works perfectly.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah was on the short list. The only person considered for Mama Morton was Kathy Bates.
I can't even picture that. That's wild.
A little bit.
A little bit. Just Kathy Bates, but...
Yep. For Fred Casely, the guy that gets shot at the beginning, Robert Rodriguez, the director.
That's interesting.
I think it was the director. And Danny Trejo.
I'm making a face right now, audience.
It is a face. It's an interesting face.
Okay,
we're not even to the weird ones yet.
Okay, yeah, hit me with the weird ones.
Amos.
Okay.
Or Andy, whichever one you want to go by. Keanu Reeves.
Weirdly, I can see it.
Bet you can't see this next one.
Okay.
Sweet little invisible meek Amos.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. Lost me.
Billy Flynn. Got another weird one on here. John Travolta, first off.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
I can see it. That's the Richard Gere one. Hugh Jackman was actually offered the role, but he felt that he was too young for it.
I can see that
Back
that time
in 2002,
period.
around the time of the first.
But man, Hugh Jackman today, oh my gosh,
absolutely
that'd be outstanding.
Jar, I said it.
I think we've both done 2 tonight.
I think so.
Let's try and end it right there.
And the really weird one for Billy Flynn.
Okay.
They were seriously considering Michael Jackson.
Huh?
And they didn't go with it because they felt that people wouldn't be able to look past
the fact that it's Michael Jackson.
The fact that they wouldn't be able to see past the person to the role. So, yeah. And then Velma, a long list. Both Velma and Roxy, like I'm showing the list here. I'll run down them real quick. Toni Collette, Neve Campbell, Angelina Jolie. I could see her doing it.
Yeah.
Madonna.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer Lopez.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Julia Roberts, Gwyneth Paltrow, Winona Ryder, Famke Janssen, Kristen Davis, Kathy Najimy.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's interesting.
I can't see her as a Velma. I love Kathy Najimy.
Yeah, I do too. I love Kathy Najimy.
Part of it is I can't see anyone but Catherine Zeta-Jones in it.
Right.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, Gloria Estefan, Courtney Love.
I love Gloria Estefan.
Yeah, and then
I don't know how she is acting.
I don't know. I've never seen her in anything. And then for Roxy, just running down them real quick, Charlize Theron.
Okay,
yeah. I know I just said I'm going to run down them real quick, but apparently she had the role. Another director was going to do the movie.
Yeah.
And she had it, and then Rob Marshall took over, and she had to audition for it and lost.
Oh, geez.
So Charlize Theron almost had it.
Brutal.
Michelle Pfeiffer, Emma Thompson, Lucy Lawless, Melanie Griffith, Kylie Minogue, Amy Poehler.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
This is according to IMDb. Kirsten Dunst, Chloe Sevigny, I think I pronounced that right. Penelope Cruz, Kim Basinger, which I think was, like, they were probably planning it well before.
Yeah.
Maybe in the 80s or early 90s as opposed to early 2000s. Mimi Rogers, Claudia Schiffer, Cindy Crawford, Tyra Banks. Think what you will of her, she's not an actress. I don't think I've ever seen her or anything. And Shakira.
Those are all some very interesting choices.
Yeah, get very, very different versions of the movie in alternate timelines.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Why would he go back in time and step on a butterfly? We have no idea what we're going to get. Could end up with the old Razzle Dazzle being punctuated with a hee-hee.
Gloria Estefan in there.
Yeah.
Could have ended up with Jennifer Lopez and Shakira as Velma and Roxy.
Been wild.
It would have been. It would have been interesting.
Would have.
I would have watched it. But,
right.
Yeah. It's also the alternate timeline where Al Pacino played Han Solo. And
yeah. The alternate timeline where Burt Reynolds is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's a wild one.
All of these real...
Or no, not Burt Reynolds. Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck, yeah.
Why did I say Burt Reynolds? That's weird.
Mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do all guys with mustaches look the same? Am I a mustachist?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't have.
I have to do some deep introspection now.
I don't have a mustache, so I can't really say. I'm not an expert.
All right.
Yeah. So those are all possible castings that never came to be.
Wild.
Yeah. Anything else to say on Chicago?
No, other than just really glad I haven't skipped this one anymore. This is, honestly, this is towards the top of ones you've shown me.
Right,
sure.
We haven't done a ton yet, but...
Yeah. It's not the top. I'll tell you what the top was after the podcast.
Okay.
I don't want to, ruin it for the folks at home.
It was lucky number 11, wasn't it?
No, it was
Interesting parallel on this one. The opening of this movie does get a touch suggestive. Mm-hmm. Extremely suggestive.
Yeah.
There's no mistaking what those two people are doing.
Right?
Lots of scantily clad women. So kind of like Lucky Number 11, which has a very intense opening sequence. I almost felt the need to turn to you and go, this isn't what the whole movie is. It's okay. Murder happens and the movie hits its stride, and it's not like I'm not showing you some.
And that's kind of really the turning point in both of them is there's a murder, and then it becomes a movie.
Yeah, they were both almost very different movies.
Right.
The beginning of Chicago is nothing like the opening of Lucky Number 11, but it's a delightful movie.
It is. Yeah.
I could almost go watch it again right now.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna. I told you before we watched the movie, this is one of my favorite musicals. I've never seen it on the stage. I'd love to, but part of my prep work is listening to the soundtrack to kind of refresh it in my memory. I listened to it last night, and then today before work I listened to it again. And after you leave tonight, I'm probably going to listen to it again. It's just amazing music, done, performed amazingly. Apparently Danny Elfman did part of the score for it.
Interesting.
It's not as bouncy as his stuff usually is.
Yeah. But the periodness of it definitely... The 20s-ness of it kind of tempers that a little.
So overall, if you're looking for a recommendation, I think both Alex and I would say, don't skip this.
Don't skip this.
It's gotten a little bit of hate over the years. Just I think it was overhyped when it came out.
Yeah.
But I would put it up as among my favorite. I'll say among my favorite non-Disney musicals. Disney's just like a different class of musicals. But yeah, I'd put this up towards the top of my favorite musicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would too.
Dad's story.
Okay. So, we're going to set the stage here. I had not been born at this time.
As all good stories begin.
Yes.
I wasn't here to see it.
I wasn't here to see this.
I was going to tell you how it was explained.
I have heard this story so many times. Literally every time my family watches the movie in question.
Okay.
All through my childhood, my mom would stop the movie to chastise my dad for embarrassing her so badly in a crowded movie theater in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
So, the scene is Home Alone 2.
Okay.
The now sticky bandits have happened upon Kevin in the abandoned, what is it, uncle's house? Is it his uncle?
Yes.
Yeah. And
I'm pretty sure it's uncle.
They're making their way through Kevin's myriad traps. And Harry? Which one is Joe Pesci?
Harry.
Yeah, I got that right. Yeah. I always mix them up in my head. I'm like...
I remember after Daniel Stern gets the iron to the face, he's laying there going, Harry.
But anyway, Harry is wandering the house, and it's really dark, right? Mm-hmm. And so it occurs to him to turn on a light, and he pulls a string.
Like you do.
And a torch sets his beanie on fire, and he looks for the only source of water to put it out in, and dunks his head
in a toilet. Yep, I remember the scene very well.
At which point, the camera pans to the outside of the building, and you just see every window in the entire house flash.
Poof! Yeah.
As my mom tells it, the entire theater turned as my dad laughed so hard he couldn't breathe in his big old Herman Munster laugh. And Mom is sitting there slapping him in the chest. This continues for about 10 seconds after the scene is over. Like, he cannot contain himself from that. But for years now, anytime we watch Home Alone 2, that scene comes up, Mom's just shaking her head. I'm like... I still can't believe that happened.
Big thumbs up from us both on Chicago.
Yeah.
I hate it. While we were watching it, I was thinking of another musical. I'm like, I bet Alex hasn't seen that. And I cannot remember what it was.
Oh, shoot. Okay, well, maybe you'll think of it.
I just have to watch it again, see if I can trigger the same memory.
There you go. Okay.
There you go. Alex, you want to let people know the socials where they can find us?
You can find us on the interwebs. If you are a Facebook type person, you can find us by searching the words "You Skipped That." If you are an Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, I'm sorry, I'm not calling it X, or Threads type person, you can search at "You Skipped That," all one word, all lowercase, all spelled out completely. And last but not least, we're also on YouTube. All of these videos will be posted there. Or not videos, audio, but with like a nice picture behind it. Maybe a little sound form thing.
You really don't want to be looking at us while we're talking about this.
Speak for yourself, man.
I mean, you got a better view than I do.
What are you... Folks, get in the comments. Get in the comments, okay? Defend me, all right?
You know.
Come on. I'm lovable. I don't know what you're talking about.
You walked into it.
Yeah. I mean, I may have walked in that direction, but you did not have to be that brutal. I mean, dang, folks.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah, go find us on socials. Tell us if we're doing a good job. Don't tell us if we're doing a bad job. We are...
No.
Yeah.
Very sensitive.
Very fragile. Fragile egos.
No, and, share it with all your friends.
Yeah. We'll be back next week with one of Alex's movies.
Yes.
Not only have I not seen it, I can't even think of what it is.
Yeah.
I have the schedule right over here.
I'm looking forward to it.
Uh-huh.
I really am.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun one.
Well, we will see that next week then.
All right.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.